A strange and remarkable thing, Wonderbread. The 18th of March, I started an experiment that I thought would take around 2 weeks to complete, but due to the wonders of Wonderbread, it somehow is still going on. So I decided to call it Kit today, and, well, by the way, the 14th of June, and show you the results of my try to use Wonderbread as a culture medium growing mold on this stuff, or how to prevent it using different sanitizing products. The result might make you wonder if you really want to call this food or shove this in your pie hole. Now let's light up this time machine. I have built it before. And go back to the beginning of this pandemic, the 18th of March 2020. For this experiment I got me some fresh white bread and a whole assortment of hand sanitizers and soaps. The first solution I made myself by using some vodka and some glycerin. The second one is also a DIY product, using some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol and some aloe vera gel to thicken it up a little bit. Then I have a medical grade hand sanitizer and some hydrogen peroxide wipes, which I'm not recommending because they will oxidize your hands and give you the white spots. Also I have some antibacterial soap, but the main idea is probably the most simplest, by using the UV radiation of the sun, as it is known that viruses such as the current pandemic is extremely sensitive to heat and UV rays. Apparently the virus seems to have a way harder time to spread in warm and sunny regions. So let's start off with the control. I know this is not a sterilized environment. So this is our control. I will put this over here. Now to get some bacteria on my fingers I use an used kitchen sponge. And I will just simply moisten my hands with this sponge, pushing it down onto the bread, maybe on both sides. This will be our bacteria control. Same thing again. I'll moisten my hand. But now I will use some of my DIY vodka spray. So I washed my hands the recommended 20 seconds and I will move on to the next slice of bread using my DIY isopropyl alcohol aloe vera gel mixture. Therefore again I will moisten my fingers on that kitchen sponge, rubbing it a little bit through, and add some of this gel. Leave it to dry a little bit. Now for the last slice of bread I won't use anything but sunlight, so I will contaminate my fingers again. I will touch it like this and I will put this somewhere into the direct sun. I think we are back in the future. We are 89 days later. Let me take this out of the way. I made sure I kept my samples in a nice warm environment between 80 and 90 degrees, like ideal for mold, grew and stuff like that. So let's have a look to our samples 89 days later. Starting off with the vodka spray, my homemade sanitizer spray. And there you go. Actually, nothing has happened. It is still fluffy, it is still soft. It has a little yellow tint to it because it's aged bread. Could be something famous in the future. Let's take this out of this bag. You can still see my fingerprints on that, where I smushed them on to introduce some bacteria. But apparently Wonderbread stands for its name. This looks like fresh out of the bag. Soft. Well, it smells a little musty. It smells like cardboard. Well, let's put this back in here. So that's the vodka spray. So vodka spray apparently works to kill bacteria. Let's check out the next one, which is the IPA and aloe vera gel. IPA, isopropyl alcohol, and it's the exact same thing. No mold whatsoever. Let's have another look here. Looks perfectly fine. No mold. It's still soft. I don't think you can eat this stuff. Not even when it's fresh out of the bag, because this is not normal. I grew up with bread that started molding 3 days after opening it or buying it. Let's check out the next one, which is the Sterilium. Sterilium is a hospital sanitizer, so it's an extreme potent way to get rid of any sort of bacteria. Still see my fingerprints in there. I mean, come on, this is 89 days later after buying that bread and putting some bacteria into it. I mean, even when my fingers were disinfected, there should be some mold growing, at least like on the borders, on the sides or something. It's weird. Hydrogen peroxide, the next one that I made. Again, nice and fluffy. Well, the middle part seems a little bit dry. It seems a little bit thinner, dried up, but the rest, there's something. But that's not mold. That's just a little lighter baked because it was in a mold, in a mold to bake it. Well, no mold so far for 89-day-old bread. Antibacterial soap. Simply wash your hands 20 seconds, and also here, no mold at all. There is a little yellow thing to it, a little yellow shine here, but it's almost as you would see my finger here. Weird. Now let's move over to the more interesting results. I have the sunlight bread here, where I did nothing else but laying it in the sun for sanitizing due to UV radiation. And this one, well, it is still soft, but it is way harder than that one. It's dried up a little. It also had this little crusty thing here. This little yellow dried up thing. But no mold. There is no mold whatsoever. It's just dried. And it dried inside of a bag, usually where you isolate the bread and its humidity inside of a bag, so it definitely should mold after a while, especially when it's in a warm environment. It's weird. Let's go over to our control. The control was just a simple slice of bread. I used tongs to put it in this bag, so I never touched it by hand. And you see that is perfectly fine as well, so it makes no difference if I use the sanitizer for now. You see it's a little yellowish, but still it is soft all the way through. This is a little bit harder. You can hear this. A little toasty. A little toasty control. Now, let's get to the only sample that actually did something, which is the bacteria control, where I put my fingers on the kitchen sponge and put it on the bread. And that's that one. So, you see this one is completely molded. It is pulverized. This is just dust in there. So it really falls apart when I squish it. You can see this. So this definitely had some bacteria in there, probably the ones I introduced. Now, what is the result of this? Well, for now, for my experiment at least, all the breads I touched with my nasty fingers and used some sanitizer, doesn't matter which one, they all seem to be fine. The only one that really got moldy is the bacteria control. So the one I really messed around with and introduced bacteria. Lots of samples, no real perfect result, but at least something after 89 days, which is quite impressive for bread. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more, there is a lot more stuff to be discovered on my channel. Please subscribe, ring this little bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, because there will be more coming up very soon. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you on the next one. Until then, see ya!